Hello again and welcome to Dubai Fafa.
It's Fafa Gilbert here and welcome to the Creative African Cooking channel in Dubai Fafa, where you find me twisting things and adding new ingredients and, flavor zone. Yes, I love enhancing the natural flavors of dishes. So if you really want some tasty African dishes also present to you beautifully, this is the channel for you. Hey, you need to watch to the end to find out what this is. This is the Ndudu Christmas feast. Today on the menu, I'm actually making palm nut soup the way I like it. I like it light and refreshing. Now, ideally, if I was in Ghana, then I would get the fruit, steam it, pound it, and then use hot water to extract the cream out of the fruit. But here I've actually got one made in a tin, so that process actually is eradicated. And actually, of all the palm nuts fruit or cream that's actually on the market, this is my favorite because it's the closest to the taste of palm nut. And so here I've actually got 800 grams of the palm nut cream, and I'm just going to be adding that to my saucepan. As you can see, I'm going to melt this and add some water. One of the interesting things I do like about Ghana in a way is the fact that every tribe actually cooks their dishes differently, even though they use similar ingredients. So of course, if a different tribe actually made the palm nut soup, it would taste completely different because of what they do add to it. Now, my mom always used to use goat meat and smoked tuna for the soup, and I loved it because it was light, it was refreshing, and it had that light smokiness. Now, I'm actually just going to be using lamb for it because I don't have the smoked tuna. But again, I like it light, I like it refreshing. I want to taste the palm fruit. So at this point, I've actually added 800 grams of the cream of palm nut, and now I've also added 1.2 liters of water, and I'm actually going to be boiling this so that the palm nut cooks. And at this point, I'm actually going to move on to steaming my meat, which I'll be using for this. Now, to steam my meat, of course, I'm actually using my twisted version here, but there's a healthy benefit for it. I've actually chosen to include carom seeds. Carom seeds actually helps with your digestive system. And I've also got aniseed, onion, and ginger. And I'm blending this together, and that's what I'm actually going to marinate my meat in and steam my meat in. So I have got my lamb pieces, and I've got my blended mixture here. So I'm just going to add it to it and mix everything till it's well combined. At this point, you can marinate it for an hour or so, but I just, started cooking this way and it worked perfectly well. Now, the process of actually steaming my meat is I want it to steam in its own juices. So this is where the clay pot becomes handy because I've not added any water. It's just the meat as well as the spices that I've actually added to it. And I'm just going to cook this gently for about 45 minutes. So it means that the flavors that I've actually incorporated into the meat are just going to be enhanced. And this is what becomes like the stock for the soup. So you can see where I'm going with this. This is not any other food. Anyway, this is how I like my soup. So don't hate. Love. Anyway, so as you can see, this is steaming just perfectly, and it's going to be almost ready in about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I can actually move on in making my soup.
The multitasking when cooking actually is rather important because whilst you're actually steaming your meat, you can actually continue with your palm nut soup. So at this point, I'm actually just going to add a whole onion and tomatoes to my palm nut soup and bring it to the boil. So at this point, I'm actually adding a teaspoonful of cayenne pepper. Now this will give it this beautiful residual heat because cayenne pepper is not too hot, which is just perfect. And I'm mixing everything together till it's well combined. So at this point, I'm actually going to be adding 2 ladles of my blended ginger and onion. This is my infusion. This is to add that extra flavor to my soup. So after boiling my mixture for about 15 minutes, I'm now going to scoop my tomato and onion, and I'm going to blend it and later add it to my soup. The onion and tomato would act as a thickener to my soup as well. So this is just infusion. At this point, I need to actually add my lamb pieces to allow the lamb to cook further in the soup. This would actually allow some infusion began to take place, because the lamb is now going to add its spices to the soup, and it's also going to absorb the flavors that I've also incorporated into the soup. So I'm adding all the stock and all the flavors to this, and you can see the oil settling at the top. So add a tablespoonful of herring powder and mix everything together till it's well combined. This is a beautiful taste to actually incorporate into the dish. If you do have your smoked tuna, then you can't omit this altogether. And at this point, you can scoop your oil. You can use it for your stews or anything else that you prefer. Now I'm adding my blended onion and tomatoes to the mixture. However, I had to actually scoop some of my soup into another pot because I did not want my pot overflowing. So at this point, it's just started to bubble, and which is just taking about 3 minutes. And now moving on to my vegetables. You can be creative with the type of vegetables you use, but I do love my garden eggs in palm nut soup. You can also add your petite aubergine. I don't know the local name, but if you do, let me know and leave a comment below. And also some okra. If you're vegetarian, of course you can omit the lamb pieces and also the herring powder that I did add to my mixture. And you can actually add as many vegetables as you wish with your spices, so you can actually have your vegetarian soup here. So now that I've divided my aubergine in half and added it to my soup, I'm actually bringing this to the boil to actually cook the aubergine. Now your soup will be ready once you can actually see the foaminess that's actually at the surface actually disappears. That's when you know your soup is ready. So at this point you're simmering. You're simmering to cook the soup. You're intensifying the natural flavors. So I've just covered it halfway and just allowing this to simmer just beautifully. Now this shouldn't take you in more than 15 minutes to achieve that. And at this point, yet again, an infusion taking place. I'm adding some fresh sliced onions. Now this will just give it that little crunch. It's all about the texture, you know. And also adding some okra. So I've actually just got about 3 minutes left of cooking. So at this point, I'm actually going to add my whole petit bell chilies or bakbishuto. Now you notice that the soup doesn't actually have a lot of chilies in, because this is how I like it. I like it quite delicate and refreshing as well. Now I leave the chilies whole. So anyone that actually wants to increase the spiciness of the soup can actually break the whole chilies. Secondly, the okra was the last thing I added, because okra doesn't take that long to cook, and you want it to be green and you just want it to be perfect. You just don't want it to be overcooked. Now usually with this soup, it's best served a day after. So once you make it, you leave it to settle for about 24 hours. And I'll tell you what, the flavors intensify. Of course, add your salt to taste. Mix everything together. You can see the foaminess is gone. And just after about 2 minutes of brewing, that's it. Now you can serve this with your plantain fufu, which is the next recipe coming up.
Now, dishes in Ghana during the Christmas period would be dishes that are time consuming, and because of the holidays, people do have the time to actually make these dishes. Definitely there'll be some kind of soup happening, peanut butter soup with chicken or goat meat. You've also got like your light soup with either chicken or goat meat. You can do it with your fish. It's varied. Find more inspiring recipes on my blog ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com. And I hope you're actually enjoying the Christmas series so far. There's some more interesting recipes coming up. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, this is like the time for you to click that subscribe button like now. And also that notification button, ding dong. You need to actually ring that bell. So each time I actually upload a video, it gets delivered straight to your email address. Now I'm also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as Ndudubyfafa. Do pass by and say hi. Now if you do check my Twitter account today, which is the Ndudubyfafa handle, you would actually find the link to my BBC food quiz show, which was so funny. Now you need to listen to it and see if I actually won or not. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. But I think what I'd do as well is I'd leave the link in actually the description box below, so you can check that out as well. Yeah, I met some interesting individuals that are doing really great, and yes, I'm definitely inspired. 2018, hey, Nkemba. So you also make sure that you're sharing with your family and friends. You're liking the video, you're trying the recipe, you're giving me your feedback. Let's grow. Medasio, thank you. Oh, bye.